We are live here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Happy Monday. Happy draft week, folks. We made it. Sometimes it never feels like it's going to get here, then it's here. And it's like, all right, 3 days from now, the Chiefs will have a new football player, unless they trade out of the first round. So that's exciting, and I hope you guys are excited for the week to come. Shout out Evan for saying Chat Sports is the GOAT of content. You know, we do what we can here. We do what we can, bringing you guys videos all the time. So appreciate all the support. We couldn't do it without you guys watching. So shout out to all of you. And then shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from. We're here in our Dallas, Texas studios. Got producer Sam hanging out today. Sam, any words? Happy draft week.
Happy draft week to all, and to all a good week. Let's hope that the Chiefs draft your favorite player, your favorite prospect. It's going to be a busy week here at the office. I'm mentally prepared. Maybe not 100%, but
we're working our way there. We're at like 82% right now.
Yeah, I'm like right there. I'm ready to eat like trash for a week, sleep like shit, and see some players get drafted to the NFL and achieve their dreams.
I'm doing that already.
Yeah, I know.
With the newborn, so I'm kind
of. You might be like 98%.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm already functioning on like 5 hours of sleep. So this is just how we do it here. Tony's here in Dallas. We got Tommy in Chicago, Flip in Lodi, California. We got Nate in Virginia, Casey born and bred. What up, Ed? We got Danny and Rowlett. That's not too far from here. Arrowhead News and Rumors Report, Michigan. Ed Griffin in Valencia. We got Guillermo in St. Louis. Achilles in Toronto. Happy draft week, Tony. We got John Satterfield in Kansas. Let us know. Get the chat popping. We got John in Red Oak in is that Iowa. We got Minhee in Overland Park. Cole Keller in Wichita. Congrats. Appreciate that, Flip. We got Fazzy in Africa. We got G-Dub in Tulsa, Mexico, Missouri from Lewis. Shout out to the real ones. And shout out to Evan Fullerton getting his super chat going. If we trade down from 31, what would that draft compensation look like? Hashtag diaper fund. Shout out to Evan donating to the diaper fund. Listen, it depends how far you move down, right? Like if you move down to 40, it's going to be different than 50 or something like that. So I think it depends what you mean. If you mean trade down, like trade up, like if you set it backwards, if you're trying to move up in the draft into like, 25, 20, et cetera, again, it depends how far you move. I think if the Chiefs try to get into the top, 23 or so, it's probably going to cost you your second round pick as well, 31 and 63 for 22, something like that. Or, maybe you trade 95 and a fourth. So it all just depends. Kansas City last year traded, I think it was 29, a third, and a fourth for 21 to go to get Trent McDuffie. So that's kind of what it cost to do something like that. Speaking of, should the Chiefs trade up in the NFL draft? 87% say yes, 13% say no. Type Y for yes and for no. I'm very much in the camp of trading up because you don't have a lot of needs and you have 10 draft picks. You don't need to draft 10 players. I'll expand on that thought in our Chiefs News and Rumors segment here. But I think that trading up is going to make a lot of sense. I just think that's going to be a thing that Brett Veach is going to consider. I think he already is considering it. Minnie says yes. Tony, Flip, Cole Keller, Tony say yes. Tommy says yes. So does Ed Griffin. Ezra Mitchell says yes as well. We got Jay Gonzo saying go Chiefs. John Campos says yes. So does Benjamin. Trade with the Giants up to 25. I don't see the Giants trading down. If one of the receivers is sitting there at 25, they're going to take him, I think. So if you want to get a guy that New York could take, you got to get up to at least 24, I think. Regev says yes. Mahomes likes Flowers. Yeah, we're going to talk about Zay Flowers. A lot of buzz there right now. Braden says yes. So we'll see. I think trading up makes a lot of sense. Obviously, it depends how the draft starts to fall, but we know Brett Veach isn't afraid to make a move of that caliber. Name a player that you want the Chiefs to draft. Who's someone you want Kansas City to go get, whether it's in a trade up, trade down, or staying at 31, or a player later in the draft? Drop a name. Drop a name in the comments section below. Let's go. Jalen Hyatt from Tony Fuentes. Quentin Johnston from Minhee. Zay Flowers from Dip. Arrowhead says Zay Flowers. Trade down for Gibbs. Sounds like you may have to trade up for him. Jahmyr Gibbs buzz out there too. Zay Flowers from Dip. Jalen Hyatt from Tony. Xavier Smith from Ed. Miles Murphy or JSN from Jay. Guillermo says Jones. I assume you mean Broderick Jones. Nolan Smith from H-Tag. James Hughes. BJ Ojolari. Dalton James. A.T. Perry. I would like A.T. Perry on day 2. Fozzie says yes. Appreciate that, Tony. Guillermo says Broderick Jones. Let's see. Drop a name. Who do you want the Chiefs to draft? We got Darnell Washington. Ooh, I would love Darnell Washington on this team. Marvin Mims from producer Sam. I would love him at 63.
Where'd he go to school?
Oklahoma's finest.
Oh.
He was one of their 3 good players last year.
That is correct. The other 2 are also getting drafted.
Anton Harrison and
Eric Gray.
Eric Gray.
Well, let's go 4 because Jalen Redmond, I think, will get drafted as well.
Yeah, we don't know who that is. Honestly, who is that?
DT, you should do your draft prep. You know,
Is he a
it's the big week.
Day 3 guy?
Day 3 guy, 5th round guy.
Okay.
Would get drafted higher if he didn't have significant medical red flags.
Okay. Felix Anadike Uzoma, Tank or Zay. Tank Dell on day 2 could be interesting. We'll see. All right, guys, spam the chat. You know what the deal is. If you hate the Raiders, type FLV, F Vegas in the chat. Let's go. Mitchell Wren's talking smack all week leading up to the draft. Get the FLVs going. This is their Super Bowl because, you know, they don't play in the real Super Bowl. That's just a fact.
No, after today, their management and their coaching staff actually goes on a 7th-month vacation from football. They send in a bunch of fake people, like actors who look exactly like them, to actually do their jobs during the weekend on Sundays. And
those actors might do a little better.
Yeah, and you don't see them until January, February, when they drop more rumors that are also extravagant.
Tony says FLV. So does Jay Gonzo, Minhee, Braden, Tony, Cole Keller, H-Tag, Achilles, John Campo, Evan Fullerton, Jeremiah Carpenter, King Lewis. We got Sheldon, Guillermo, Flip, Paul Amos. Someone says FCB for the Bengals. Hey, F Buff. Let's go. F Denver. We champs no matter what. Yes, sir. Harrison, I've had a Raiders hater shirt for years. I like it. I like it. I like it. FLV from Paul Amos. Fozzie as well. You guys know. You guys know. The Raiders are frauds. We all know it. All right, if you love the Chiefs, go ahead and like the video. We only have 14 likes on today's show. Come on. Got to get to 40 likes. We're not starting today's real live show, the real part of the show, until we get 40 likes. Got 93 people watching. Let's get to 40 likes. Tony has liked it. King says, I would love to. Hit that like button, King. Let's go. Paul has liked it. Flip says, my brother likes the Raiders, so I brag when the Chiefs win. That's easy. Easy to brag when you're a Chiefs fan and you know a Raiders fan, because it's just easy money, man. James Yoder has liked it. Braden has liked the video. Shout out to Evan. We got Achilles in there. King Lewis. Let's get to 40 likes. Tony says, I'd like to hit thumbs up again, but only one time. Listen, if YouTube let you like it more than once, I have no doubts that you would like it more than once. Kells has liked it. 4 likes away. Let's go. Need 4 more. DJ has liked the video. 3 likes away. Once we get to 40, we'll jump into today's show. Christopher has liked it. Hit the like harder than Chris Jones hits Justin Herbert. Love it. Love it, H-Tag. Minhee has liked it. 1 more like, and we are good to go. There it is, 45 likes. Let's get this party started. All right, producer Sam and I are going to be with you guys for the next 45 minutes to an hour or so. Here's what's coming up, the latest Chiefs news and rumors, a lot of draft buzz as draft week is here. Live Q&A, if you have a question, either super chat to skip to the front of the line. All donations get on the show. Appreciate that. Or you can use hashtag Chiefs, then ask your question. So hashtag Chiefs or super chat. And then I unveil my final 2023 Kansas City Chiefs mock draft. Who do I have the Chiefs taking this year? Do they trade it all? That's all coming up here on today's live show. Let's jump into it. The Kansas City Chiefs report by Chat Sports coming at you right now. What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports. We got another episode of the Chiefs Report coming at you here on a Monday. It is draft week. Round of applause. We made it. Biggest week of the year outside of, Super Bowl week, of course. Can't wait to see what Brett Veach and this front office do in the NFL draft. Speaking of which, that's where we'll start today's show. Are the Chiefs looking to trade up in round one? Albert Breer of Monday Morning Quarterback says that the Chiefs have, quote, made calls about moving up in the first round, which I think does end up making a lot of sense for Kansas City because you look at their draft capital right now, have the number 31 overall pick, 63.95, couple of fourths, couple of sixths, couple of sevenths, got a fifth rounder in there as well. You don't need to draft 10 players if you're Kansas City. You just won the Super Bowl. You don't have a bunch of needs to fill out on this roster. Trading up makes sense. You're picking in the last pick of round one. If you can move up to 20, 22, hell, even the top 20 to get a player that you really, really like that can really, really help you right now, that makes sense. Your goal should be to find 3 to 5 impactful players in this draft, 1 or 2 early on, and then you're good to go. And then, hopefully with your other picks, you find some contributors. But if you can pick some guys that can help you right away, I think that's going to leave you in a really good spot if you are Kansas City. So what do you guys think? Should the Chiefs trade up in the NFL draft? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I would like to see it. They don't need to make 10 picks. I'm typing my Y for yes. If you don't agree, if you disagree, you can go ahead and type your N for no. Here's Albert Breer. He says the Chiefs are one of a few teams that has already made calls about moving up. And while teams have talked to them, feel like, at least for now, Kansas City is seeing if it can find a discounted way to go up the board. Brett Veach and his crew aren't doing it for nothing. Targets. I've heard Zay Flowers connected to the Chiefs. He worked out with Patrick Mahomes in Texas last week. The other name was Jahmyr Gibbs, which that's a really fascinating one. We'll talk about the Alabama running back here in just a moment, but let's talk about the Boston College wide receiver first. We talked about Zay Flowers quite a bit last week because the Chiefs called him last minute to sneak in a private workout with Patrick Mahomes, a late draft visit there, and I think that was very notable. Obviously, Zay Flowers is a player that is moving up draft boards and probably won't fall to number 31, so he could be an interesting fit at the wide receiver position. We'll talk about Jahmyr Gibbs here in just a second, but first, shout out to today's sponsor, Z Biotics. Listen, I'm almost 30 years old now. When I have a lot of drinks at night, I just don't wake up well the next day. It's kind of a tough one, but that has all changed with Z Biotics. Their pre-alcoholic probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in your gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. So drink Z Biotics before drinking alcohol, then drink responsibly. Get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. So try Z-Biotics yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports to get 15% off when you plug in code CHATSPORTS at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason at all, they will refund your money. That is zbiotics.com/chatsports, code CHATSPORTS for 15% off. It just comes in this little shot glass. Rip it. Enjoy your night of drinking, get some sleep. You're going to be feeling good the next day. zbiotics.com/chatsports, code chatsports to get 15% off at checkout. You're going to be feeling brand new with Z-Biotics. Check the link in the comments and in the description of this video. You get back to wide receiver with Zay Flowers. Does he come in and be a number one right away? I don't think so, but I just think it adds another good weapon to this offense. Flowers, Tony, MVS, Sky Moore, Richie James, Justin Watts, and obviously Travis Kelce in your tight end room. You need another wide receiver. You need one more guy toward the front of that depth chart that can help. I think he can be much better as a rookie than Sky Moore was last year. I really do. I think he's going to come in and be more pro-ready than Sky Moore was and contribute at a high level. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs, the other name that Albert Breer mentioned as a potential trade-up option, is not someone we've talked about here on the Chiefs Report. In fact, we really haven't talked about the frontline running backs in this draft, but it would be interesting. Gibbs, who kind of does a little bit of everything, transferred from Georgia Tech to Bama for this past season, ran for 926 yards, caught 44 balls for 444 yards, 10 total touchdowns, and, Jarrett McKinnon remains unsigned, and Brett Veach says they'll revisit that after the draft. You add Jahmyr Gibbs for an Isiah Pacheco, Jahmyr Gibbs combo, kind of a 1-2 punch, that's pretty interesting. I like that quite a bit. Now, a couple things to consider. One, would this take you out of bringing back Jarrett McKinnon, or do you cut or trade Edwards-Helaire and then bring back McKinnon as your third back? That could still be in the cards, I would say. And then number two, speaking of Edwards-Helaire, is there too much PTSD from when this team drafted the LSU running back in round one? Because he has not lived up to that billing. He just hasn't. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is a better prospect. I know that Edwards-Helaire was considered a good prospect, but Gibbs has much more burst. I think he's better as a pass catcher. That's where we really missed on Edwards-Helaire. I thought he was going to be a weapon out of the backfield. He has not been that. He just has not. So, it's interesting. Trading up for running backs sounds funky, but again, you don't have a ton of major needs, and if you want to go up and get somebody that you really, really like, it can really, really help right away. And if you're convicted in that decision, then that's something you have to consider. All right, pick a player. Type ZF for Zay Flowers. Type JG for Jahmyr Gibbs. Let me know who you would rather trade up for in the comment section below. ZF for Flowers or JG for Jahmyr Gibbs. The NFL draft is going to be wild, and we're going to have you guys covered throughout all 3 days of the draft. So subscribe to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. We'll be live over there for every single pick. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Turn on your notification bell over there. When you see this thumbnail, you'll know you're in the right place. Chat Sports' round one coverage of the NFL draft. Then we'll be live for rounds 2 and 3, rounds 4 through 7. Don't miss any of it. Every single pick broken down with us here at Chat Sports. Okay, one more draft rumor here. How about drafting Jordan Addison, the USC wide receiver? ESPN's Matt Miller mocked Addison to the Chiefs in his latest mock draft. And look, I think any of a grouping of receivers that are sitting there at 31, I think is great value if you don't go trade up. And in fact, you could trade up for a guy like Jordan Addison. 2 good years in a row at 2 different programs. Had a huge year at Pitt in 2021 when he won the Blitnikoff, almost 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns when he played with Kenny Pickett. Didn't put up the volume at USC, but was still very effective there. They just had more weapons to spread the ball around to. 8 touchdowns for the Trojans a year ago. Here's what Miller had to say about Jordan Addison and what the Chiefs could do at 31. First, he had a quote from a rival GM saying, "There's no way KC uses all of its picks this year. They'll either trade up or trade out." A rival GM said, "But a surprising drop down the board for receivers allows the Chiefs to select a potential wide receiver 1 without moving up. Addison is primarily a slot receiver, but has 219 catches and 29 touchdowns over the past 3 years." I would love Jordan Addison at number 31 overall. I really would. I think that he would fit in well in this offense. I think he's in a grouping along with Quentin Johnston or Zay Flowers and even Jackson Smith and Jigba, who you would almost certainly have to trade up for. Any of those guys I think would be good fits for Kansas City, and Addison is right there. So especially if he falls to 31, I think the value is great, but you could justify trading into the 20s to go get a player of this caliber. All right, predict it for us. The Chiefs will draft blank in round 1, whether it's at 31 overall or in a trade-up. Who will the Chiefs draft in the first round? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. All right, we've got some breaking NFL news as well. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets has been finalized. Sam, do we have any trade details? Could we get a trade graphic on screen?
I'm gonna put one together right now. So the Jets get Aaron Rodgers. They flip first-round picks. So
13
Jets
and
get
15.
15. Packers go up to 13.
Interesting.
The Jets get a fifth-round pick, but the Packers get a second-round pick this year, a sixth-round pick this year, and a conditional 2024 second-round pick that becomes a first if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays. Wow. So they potentially got...
Even if you were to retire after this year?
They potentially got 2 first-round picks out of that.
Dude, that's a haul for Green Bay. I'm not going to lie. The NFL Live crew kind of... Their jaws hit the floor.
Yeah, I saw it.
We got ESPN pulled up in the studio.
I was watching the reaction as I saw Laura Rutledge's jaw initially drop, and I was like, "Oh no, Schefter's saying something here." And he said things.
That's crazy, man. Conditional first next year. I wonder if part of that condition is if he decides to play next year. He's going to sign – so Rodgers is going to sign a revised contract with Green Bay to facilitate the trade. Anything. Or interesting, I should say. Wow. Well. The Jets – that's just so Jets, right? I mean, to do everything to get Rodgers, who's 40 years old, that's something. All right, who do you guys think the Chiefs are going to draft? Tony Fuentes says Zay Flowers. J7 says Broderick Jones. Let's see. Jets just became a contender. Yeah, I mean, I think in this year they became more interesting. That's a lot to give up for a guy who may only play one more year. I wonder if he's given the Jets assurances that he'll play at least 2 years. Because that's a lot to give up, man. Evan says JSN. Jets gave up that much to win just 4 games. I mean, they won 7 last year with no quarterback. So Jets are definitely a bit of a factor now. Very interesting. Someone says Aaron will not play much longer. He's not TB12. Yeah, he's not going to play till he's 45. I think 42 maybe. He could play 2 or 3 more years, but I doubt it would be much longer than that. Especially considering he said that he thought about retiring this offseason. That second row on top 2. Wonder what they'll do with Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson will probably stay as the backup because they lost Mike White, so they'll need a backup. Apparently, Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are buddies too, so you got that going on. All right, here are the trade details. Jets and Packers swap first-round picks. Packers get a 2nd and 6th this year, number 42 overall, number 207 overall. They also get a conditional second-round pick next year. Could become a first if he plays 65% of the snaps. Jets get Aaron Rodgers, a first-round pick, or the swap there again, 13 to 15, and then a 5th this year. I don't know. I think the Packers won this deal. I think
so too, especially with the ongoing just kind of drama that took place over the last couple years.
Yeah.
You're getting a pretty good haul back as a result of it. And,
And look, I get the Jets being somewhat desperate for a quarterback because the rest of the roster is pretty good, but to just go all in on Rodgers like this and not even consider Lamar Jackson is super weird to me.
Yeah. Yes. I'm trying to think of some sort of counter argument, but you're right. That's just kind of the.
I mean, they kind of let the Packers. They kind of let the Packers dictate this trade, and it's like, dude, you're the team with the 40-year-old quarterback.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, who do you think had the leverage in this situation?
I thought the Jets would, but not based on this.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe the Packers were like, you know what? You want to come get him, come get him. Otherwise, we'll just let him sit on our roster this year. We'll trade him somewhere else. I wonder if Green Bay convinced the Jets, hey, we have another team that's interested. Give us what we want, or we're going elsewhere.
Why do I feel like that would have made waves before, though?
I mean, there was kind of that deep rumor of Tennessee.
How secret are you really going to keep the rumor, or the buzz? I find it surprising that someone wouldn't have already gotten an inclination that there were other teams in the mix, especially with all the time between the news initially breaking and now.
I thought the Packers would get 13. I thought the Jets would budge there. I did not think the Jets would also give up their second. If anything, I thought they might get a second back.
Yeah. I mean, the Packers they need a hit on this draft, that's for sure.
Well, listen, now Green Bay's got 13, 42, their own second. I mean, they can get Jordan Love some help if they're going to give Jordan Love every chance to. Here's a thought. Is there any chance the Packers go get a quarterback? Like, I know they keep saying, Jordan Love. They've got the ammo to do it if they want to. They can move 13 in their own second plus 42 and get into the top 7 pretty easily.
They could, but they've got multiple needs. Like Jordan Love needs more than one receiver potentially. I mean, a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, they got Chris. Yeah, they don't have a tight end. They should take
Christian
one
Watson
of the.
Was nice.
They should take one of the top, whichever tight end they like the most at 13, and then take a receiver in the second round.
See, I would almost flip those a little bit. I would hope that Darnell Washington's available at 42. Maybe kind of bank on that. Maybe some sort of trade up there from 42.
You could trade up with your 2 second-round picks back into the first round.
I think I would just get my hands on whoever I think is the best wide receiver in this draft and worry about the other stuff later.
Bears fans are going to be in shambles if JSN goes to Green Bay.
Yes, of course they will, but that's for a different time.
All right. Off the rails a bit here. It is mailbag time. Had to drop that news, though. We'll re-hit that a little bit later if anything relevant pops up. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Get your questions answered on the show, and we'll answer as many of your questions. We'll hit that Super Chat from earlier as well.
We're going to hit both of them. Evan, and shout out to DJ who sent in a Super Chat. Those will be the first 2 questions up on the mailbag. So if you want to be question number 3, you can tell the formula is pretty simple. If not, you're leaving it up to me to decide. I don't always make the best calls.
Exactly.
And I always give the 60-second guarantee. If Harrison stops talking when I tell him to stop talking, your question's going on in 60 seconds after you Super Chat.
That's how it goes. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Get those questions in, and we will answer as many as we possibly can. Here we go. Mailbag time on the Chiefs Report. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham, and it is mailbag time. So load up your questions by using hashtag Chiefs or the Super Chat function. If you donate, we will be sure to prioritize your questions on today's show. Let's start with the Super Chat from Evan Fullerton. Appreciate the 5. He says, if we trade down from 31, what would that draft compensation look like? Hashtag diaper fund. Appreciate the diaper fund donation. Baby PJ appreciates it. If you're trading out of the first round, maybe you're getting like an extra second or third round pick, something like that. Depends how far you're moving back. If you meant to say trade up, like move up higher into the first round, it depends how far you move up. Like if you move up, into the top 20, you're going to have to trade your second round pick at least. If it's like 21 to 25, maybe you trade your third and a day 3 pick or something like that. The Trent McDuffie trade last year when they moved up from 29 to 21 cost them a third and a fourth on top of 29. So that's kind of the value you're looking at there. DJ Wolfenstein, where do you think Kansas City will trade up to? Top 20? I wonder how high they'd move up. I think it's kind of like tier-based, right? Like, if they move up into the top 20, maybe they're taking one of the offensive tackles. Like, maybe Broderick Jones is someone they like, or Darnell Wright to play right tackle. Maybe it's for one of the receivers, but you could probably wait until the 20s to get one of those. Now, if they just love Zay Flowers like it sounds like they might, maybe they move up to like 17, 18 and go get him. I don't know. But if you're trading up into the low mid-20s, you should be able to get one of these receivers, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston. I don't think all these guys are going to go top 20. Now, here's a thought. What if Jalen Carter gets outside the top 10? How far does he have to drop before Brett Veach says, you know what, we don't have a lot of needs. Let's go get the best player in this draft. Like, what if he's sitting there at 13? Would you go get him? Be appealing. Coop 44, which wide receiver do you want the Chiefs to draft? So more on the wide receiver discussion here. To me, I've got 4 wide receivers that I like in round 1, and it's these 4 guys. It's Jackson Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, and Zay Flowers. Now, it's possible that all 4 of these guys are gone before picking at 31. So if Kansas City really likes one or two of these guys, they should pick a spot to trade up to and go get them. You could throw Jalen Hyatt in there. Maybe I would probably take him at 31. I don't think I'd take him in a trade-up scenario, though. He would probably be my 5th guy, but these are the 4 I really like in the first round, and you might have to trade up for one of them. So let me know. Who would you like to pick? Which wide receiver do you want? Type JSN for Jackson Smith-Njigba. Type QJ for Quentin Johnston. Type JA for Jordan Addison, or ZF for Zay Flowers. Pen comment on today's show, so if you get hit with the YouTube ad break, go ahead and drop one of the initials of one of these receivers. Cole Keller with the question, do you see the Chiefs trading up in the draft all the way to number 12 as has been rumored? And if so, who do you think they're targeting? Also, congrats on the baby. Great news. Thank you, Cole. If they're getting up to 12, again, I'll throw the Jalen Carter scenario. If he somehow falls to 12, I think that becomes interesting. Is Zay Flowers worth moving up that far for? I know they really like him. Could they be getting one of the other tackles? Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson if he slips a bit. Darnell Wright to play right tackle. Maybe that's an option. I don't know if I would move all the way to 12 for any of the receivers. I would rather wait until the 20s. From Jay, should the Chiefs trade up if Jalen Carter somehow falls out of the top 10? Yeah, we're kind of talking about that, right? I think if he gets past 10, Philadelphia at 10, because the Bears at 9, Eagles at 10, those are 2 teams that have been linked heavily to Carter. He gets past that range, I think alarm bells in Brett Veach's ears start going off like, did we go get him? 14, 15, still there. Yeah, I think there could be a scenario where at that point you say, you know what, we know the red flags are there, but we're a team that doesn't have a lot of needs. Let's go get the best player, bring him into our culture, which Andy Reid has done time and time again, giving guys second chances, and it's paid off a lot of the time. I think that could be a possibility. From King Lewis, I would love to see Kincaid in this offense, dude. From your words to God's ears. Dalton Kincaid, I love him quite a bit. I love Darnell Washington. I think getting one of these top tight ends in this draft would be awesome. Maybe that's who they want to trade up for. What are the tight ends? I'm not sure, but I would definitely be open to that. Kells in France, perhaps. Is there still a chance we get DeAndre Hopkins? And what do you think Brett Veach does if he gets cut? If Hopkins gets cut, then I think the Chiefs are one of 20 teams trying to sign him. That's the risk of waiting until he gets cut, right? You got to compete with other teams at that point. But I definitely think the Chiefs would be heavily interested. I still think trading for him is a possibility, so keep that in mind. Subscribe to the Chiefs Report. We are your go-to home for more Chiefs news, rumors, draft coverage this week. We got it all. Turn on your notifications after you subscribe and never miss an episode of the Chiefs Report. Minhee, Quentin Johnston, or Zay Flowers, who does it better? They're just different players, man. Zay Flowers is primarily a guy that's going to play slot. He'll play some outside, but undersized, twitchy guy. Quentin Johnston's also twitchy for his size, but he's 6'3", 206, 208, 210, somewhere in that range. Can go down the field a little bit, can high point the ball. He can also give you yards after the catch. So, yeah, I think it just is kind of a pick your poison deal. It seems like the Chiefs really like Zay Flowers, so they might be leaning that direction. From Bill Chase, hey, Harrison, I just heard Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. What do you think of that? We got the trade graphic. We can flash it real quick. It's interesting, right, for the AFC. It adds another potential contender in this loaded conference already. The Jets gave up a lot, though, man. They swapped firsts. They also are giving up a second, a sixth, and a conditional second next year that could become a first. They did get a fifth back, but I definitely thought the Packers won this trade. But in the short term, yeah, if Aaron Rodgers can get back to MVP-level form, then, yeah, that gives the Chiefs a potential another tough out because the Jets have a pretty good roster outside of quarterback, and now they may have the quarterback. From Cole Keller, how about this proposal? Chiefs trade CEH and a fourth for D-Hop and a fifth. I don't think CEH is worth much, but sure, if you can get D-Hop for a fourth, even if you don't get a fifth back, I'm in. Logan Owens, could you see a Willie Gay trade? Maybe. You signed Drew Tranquill that plays a similar linebacker position to Willie Gay, so yeah, I mean, trade him for a third-round pick during the draft, something like that. Could that happen? I would not completely dismiss that. I think he'll be here, but trading him is not out of the realm of possibility whatsoever when it comes to Willie Gay. Check out our NFL draft coverage at Chat Sports, as we are going to be live for the entire NFL draft, especially round 1 on Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 Central Time. When you see this thumbnail, you'll know that we are live breaking down the NFL draft. Not sure if you'll see me guys on our main coverage. I might hop in there from time to time. I'm going to be doing a lot of team coverage here. So, but if you want analysis of every single pick in this year's NFL draft, go ahead and subscribe at youtube.com/chatsportstv. Turn on that notification bell. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Get those questions in. Hayden Shepard, do you think the Chiefs will trade for Budda Baker? I doubt it. I think they're in a good spot at safety. I talked about this on a mailbag last week, but I think they will not be a team that's interested. Joe Fazio, thoughts on Dawan Jones in the first round? I don't like him in round 1. I think he's a good prospect. He's an intriguing talent at 6'8", 370, but round 1, I don't think so. Day 2, 63, if he's there, yeah. I don't know if he'll make it to 63, but I don't think I would take him at 31. H-Tag 22, do you think we could trade up for JSN or Nolan Smith? Possibly. The problem is where does Nolan Smith fit on this defense? He's really a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's an edge that's 238 pounds. Spags likes his DNs much bigger. I don't know if that's really a fit. Jackson Smith and Jigba, yeah, I mean, you'd probably have to move up into the top 20 for him, but I would be open to doing so if I was Kansas City. Ed Griffin, do you think Kennard has a chance at right tackle if Niang isn't right physically? Well, Niang was cleared last year. He served as the backup for the rest of that year behind Andrew Wiley. But if you just mean like he's just not back to himself, then yeah, I think he'll get a chance to compete. They drafted him last year in the 5th round for a chance to compete. He just did not prove to be ready. So we'll see how this offseason goes. Big offseason for him to, kind of take his body to the next level, and hopefully he'll have a chance to get in there and show what he's got. If you hate the Raiders, type FLV. FLV. F Vegas in the chat. You guys know what to do. Get the FLVs going if you can't stand the Las Vegas Raiders. And get those questions in. We'll answer a few more. Hashtag Chiefs, or you can super chat. Arrowhead News and Rumors. Draft Save Flowers. I think you'll have to trade up, but it seems like the Chiefs are open to doing that. So, yeah, I definitely think it's a possibility. Braden Perez, do you think Felix Enrique-Uzoma will be a good fit in the defense? Yeah, I do. I think he works as a 4-3 D end. I think he can play 4-3 or 3-4, but good pass rusher, good enough run stopper. I think he's in play at 31. Tony Fuentes, will the Chiefs get D-Hop before or after the draft? That's if they get him at all. I don't think that's a given. I think they're interested and they could do it, but I feel like if they get him, it's going to be right before or during the draft. After the draft seems unlikely. I would think Arizona wants a draft pick this year, but you never know. Maybe they cut him and they get him after the draft. Ed Griffin, are Carlos Dunlap or Melvin Ingram available and possible adds after the draft? Yeah, they're still out there, and yeah, I'd say both are possibilities for Kansas City to add a veteran pass rusher. All right, appreciate all of your questions. If you didn't get them answered or if you have more that you want me to answer, hit me up on social media at HGramNFL on Twitter, at HGramNFL on Instagram. DMs are open, still catching up on a few from while I was out, but I'm almost fully caught up. At HGramNFL, if you got any Chiefs, NFL draft questions, I got you covered. Get the FLVs going. Get the FLVs going. Someone says Patty will fall off. When? The guy's getting better every year still. So if you're a team banking on Mahomes to fall off, good luck. Master Chief says FLV, so does G-Dub. We got Evan, Joe Fazio, Tony Fuentes, Evan Fullerton in the chat. Why do you hate the Raiders? It's one of the Chiefs' rivals, man. Because they're frauds.
Because they don't do anything well.
They're easy to laugh at. F the Bills. That works too.
I was sitting here while Alex Plays said that. I was sitting here trying to think of a different Patrick to go off of.
Yeah.
Stewart?
Yeah.
I think Stewart's going to fall off, really.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, man. I love X-Men.
Patrick Creighton. Braden says when he's 50 years old.
Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Cowboys and Chargers legend, Patrick Creighton. FLV dirty plays over the years. Dirty and still not good enough to win. Still not good enough to win.
Try so hard.
Ooh, Shock J. I'll answer this one real quick. He says, if the Chiefs move up to get a receiver, do you think it affects Justin Ross's ability to make the 53? Yeah, I mean, any receiver you have is going to affect his chances, but he's going to have to go out and earn it regardless. I mean, he's going to have to compete. It's not going to be easy, but look, in a perfect world, he has a great offseason, great training camp, and makes the roster and pushes someone else out. I mean, I think the Chiefs would love to see that happen, but they can't bank on that. Like, that's bonus. You know, he's got the injury history, so, you know, he's going to have to prove a lot to make this 53-man roster. Okay, Breece Hall changing his profile pic to, Aaron Rodgers when he was at Cal. Isn't that cute, Sam? The Jets are so desperate.
I'm surprised he didn't do that a month ago.
He probably wasn't allowed. Tampering. Tristan Judd.
Are we really at that point where that's considered tampering now when they've been
I'm kidding.
Openly saying this is going to happen for the last 6 weeks?
Nah, it's you know, I'm just glad it's done.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Tristan Judd says, sometimes I go back, thanks for the super, watch the Raiders stream of the Super Bowl and laugh as they got pissed when they hear you scream for joy in the next stream. Yes.
I actually want to go back and watch that show now.
It's Jeremy Chuggs, who produced that show. He likes the Eagles. He was in shambles. And he incorrectly said that was a BS call on James Bradbury. Ironically, James Bradbury an hour later said he held. So, you know, that was a glorious win. There's no doubt about it. All right, one more segment here. I'm going to go through my final Chiefs mock draft, all 7 rounds. We're going to make it happen here on the Chiefs Report. Did something just happen?
Breece Hall isn't the only one. Yep, Sauce Gardner also changed his profile picture to Aaron Rodgers' cow picture. I think the same exact picture.
I hope the Jets suck.
I hope they miss the
playoffs.
Them
being this desperate to get Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old is pathetic.
Breece Hall did tweet, my knee feels a little bit healthier now.
God, I hope they stink. I hope they freaking stink, man.
I'm down for that.
All right. Mock draft, final one before Thursday night. Let's get it here on the Chiefs Report. On today's Chiefs Report, it is my final Kansas City Chiefs 2023 7-round mock draft. All 7 rounds, every pick for the Chiefs. We're going to make it here on the Chiefs Report. Now, a reminder, Kansas City has 10 draft picks to work with this year. 31, 63, and 95 overall. Those are their day 1 and day 2 picks. A couple of 4th-round picks at 122 and 134. They also have 166 in round 5, a couple of 6th, 178, 217, and then a couple of 7ths there, 249 and 250. That's the draft capital for Kansas City. A lot of chatter that they will trade up, so keep that in mind as well. Don't miss out. We'll have analysis of every Chiefs draft pick this year, so hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, never miss a video here on the Chiefs Report. We'll break down every selection in the NFL draft. If there's a trade, we'll break that down as well. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Do not miss out on our Kansas City Chiefs draft coverage. Got to be a busy few days, Thursday through Saturday. Okay, here's our final Chiefs mock draft. No trade up in round 1. Quentin Johnston fell to me at number 31 overall. I think that's really the dream scenario, that one of these receivers is just in your lap at 31. And there's been some chatter that Johnston could slip, and if he's there at 31, I love the pick. You look at his kind of rise at TCU. Always a big play receiver, averaged well over 20 yards per catch his freshman year in 2020. 2021 got a little bit better. 6 touchdowns, almost 20 yards a catch again. And then this past year kind of had more of a complete season, 60 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 6 touchdowns. It would give you a different look at receiver. You've got more of the undersized, twitchy guys. MVS has size and speed, but he's kind of just a vertical threat. Johnston can work the slant game, the jet sweep. You can dump it off to him underneath, and he can make you miss after the catch. He's my dream pick, especially at 31. Like, I think it just gives you a different look at receiver, gives Patrick Mahomes another big-time weapon on the outside. It sounds like the Chiefs like Zay Flowers, so they might go up and get him, and I'm perfectly content with him, or Jordan Addison as well. But I just like the different type of player that Johnston is. I think it would be a fun addition to this offense. I do think wide receiver in round 1 or round 2 is pretty darn likely for Kansas City. In my final mock, I have them going Quentin Johnston out of TCU. Who's your dream pick for the Chiefs in round 1? Let me know in the comment section down below. Maybe it's Jalen Carter on a huge trade-up. Maybe it's Broderick Jones. Maybe it's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Let me know who your dream pick is for Kansas City. I didn't trade up in round 1, but I'm trading up in round 2 with Washington, moving up from 63 to 47. Got to send 95 over as well to the Commanders. Again, you've got 10 draft picks. You don't need to make that many picks. The Chiefs don't have a ton of draft needs at this point. Go up, get a player that you really like, and in this case, that's Bijan Robinson, the edge rusher out of LSU with the number 47 pick. He's a guy that I think could go top 35, top 40, so I think middle of second round here is pretty good value for the LSU pass rusher. Had 5.5 sacks last year, but got a ton of pressures. Really advanced pass rusher. Like if you watch him on tape, hits you with different moves. He's got a good spin move, good speed rusher, has enough power despite being a tick undersized. And I think that is actually a unique thing about him if you select him. Steve Spagnuolo typically likes bigger defensive ends. They go out and sign Charles Omenihu. He's a big guy. George Karlaftis, 280 pounds. Michael Dana is a pretty big defensive end. Ojulari is more in that 250, 255 range. He's a bit undersized for what Spags typically looks at, but he's an advanced rusher. He can win with speed, different moves, and he's a good enough run stopper. I think he would give you a different look coming off the edge, and I'm intrigued by that. I think getting more guys that can rush the passer is always a good thing. This is a top 30, 35 type of player. You get him in the middle of the second round, I think the value is too good to pass up on, which is why I went up and traded for him. Today's Chiefs mock draft sponsored by Z Biotics. Let's face it, when I go out and have a lot of drinks, I don't respond well the next day. Well, that has now changed with Z Biotics. Take this the night before. You're going to be feeling great. This probiotic, pre-alcoholic probiotic, is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in your gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. Drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep feel your best tomorrow. Give Z-Biotics a try for yourself. All you got to do, go to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code chatsports at checkout. That code will get you 15% off. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money back guaranteed. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, zbiotics.com/chatsports, code chatsports. That link is in the comments and in the description. It just comes in these little vials. It's like a little shot you take. Go out, have some drinks, enjoy yourself. Next day, you're going to be feeling good. zbiotics.com/chatsports, code chatsports for 15% off. Check that link in the comments and in the description. All right, no third-round pick due to the trade-up for Bijan Robinson. Round 4, pick number 122, someone you guys know quite well, Deuce Vaughn, the running back out of Kansas State, guy who just did everything for the Wildcats in his college career. 3,600 rushing yards, almost 1,300 receiving yards. 43 total touchdowns. I mean, it really is ridiculous when you look at the raw numbers for this guy. And you look at the running back room, I think you could bring him in and it still would not eliminate you from bringing back Jarrett McKinnon. What does that mean for Clyde Edwards-Helaire? It's hard to say. But Vaughn does a little bit of everything. He catches the ball well. You can give him some carries. He's not going to be a 20 carry per game guy due to his lack of size, but you can give him 8 to 10 carries a game if you need to. He's going to get his nose dirty as a pass protector at his size. Again, he's not going to be great at that, but he can do enough. Electric in space with the ball. And I think what he'll do more of in the NFL than he did in college is be a return specialist, because Kansas State used him so much on offense, they limited his return touches because they just did not want to overuse him. I think in the NFL, that's actually an area he'll be able to offer himself as an asset as well. I think he could certainly be this team's kick returner, especially if you want to take Isiah Pacheco out of that role, which would make sense if he ends up being your lead back. So should the Chiefs draft Deuce Vaughn? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think 4th, 5th round, I'd like to bring this kid on board. Went to Kansas State, obviously, just down the road. So I think that would be a whole lot of fun. Now, here's your classic Brett Veach selection of this mock draft. Alabama cornerback Eli Ricks transferred from LSU. The thing with Ricks is he's got round one talent, but he just could not be on the field for a variety of reasons. He would have little injuries pop up. Some off-field issues would pop up. Now, when he played well. Like, last year didn't play much, but when he did, look at the coverage stats. Gave up just 6 completions on 19 targets, had 4 breakups on just 19 targets. I mean, that's making plays on the football, but he just did not get a crazy amount of snaps for whatever reason. You know, there's just been all these little things that tend to pop up with this guy, dating back to his time at LSU. Now, again, I mentioned this would be a classic Brett Veach pick because he has a history of finding value in the on day 3 at corner. I mean, you just look at this room right here. Jalen Watson, 7th-round pick. L'Jarius Sneed, 4th-round pick. Josh Williams, 4th-round pick. This would be classic Veach. Let's find value. Let's take a chance on day 3 with Eli Ricks. Could be a potential starter. Could be out of the league in 3 years. I mean, it could go either way. But the talent is not the problem. He's got the ability. Can he put it all together? He wasn't able to do that in college, but when he played, he showed that he could play pretty darn well. All right, we'll go a little bit faster on these 5th-round picks and laters. Gerard Clark, Coastal Carolina defensive tackle, big boy, 330, 340. The main reason he's available this late is had back surgery in 2020. Now, he was able to return despite having a fusion surgery and play the last 2 years and play pretty well. Obviously, small school kid, but I think on day 3, if you want to take a chance on somebody like this to come be in your rotation, you lost Kalen Saunders. He could help replace him behind Derek Nottie at that nose tackle spot. I think, 5th, 6th round could make a lot of sense there. Ronnie Hickman, 6th-round safety out of Ohio State. I think special teams impact right away. A guy with decent ball skills, had 7 breakups for the Buckeyes this past year. I think he could play some nickel snaps in a pinch if you needed him to. Right away, his role would be on special teams, but potential rotation safety down the road for Kansas City as well. A few more picks to look at here on day 3 of this mock draft, but go subscribe to Chat Sports, our main YouTube channel. The Chiefs Report wouldn't be here without it, and we're going to have every single draft pick broken down for you guys on Chat Sports starting this Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 Central Time. We'll be live for the 2023 NFL Draft for all 7 rounds. If you see this thumbnail on Thursday, that's how you know you find our coverage. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Watch us live here on YouTube. Jalen Moreno Cropper, the wide receiver out of Fresno State. You get deep into the draft, you kind of just look for value here. And, the Chiefs like to find these kind of receivers out of nowhere. And maybe Moreno Cropper could be that. Had over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns last year for Fresno. Decent athlete as well. 6th round, can't really go around. Let's add a depth receiver. Levi Bell, defensive lineman out of Texas State. Ton of production, small school kid, undersized as well. Maybe a practice squad stash. And I definitely think that's the case with Jake Witt, offensive tackle out of Northern Michigan. Crazy story. We talked about it on our mock last week, but committed to a different Michigan school for basketball, changed his major. The school he was at didn't have it, so he had to transfer to Northern Michigan. Wasn't even really thinking about sports in 2019. 2020, joins the football team. Then COVID hit, so that year doesn't happen. 2021, he's a tight end. All of their offensive tackles get hurt in a game, so he has to plug in and play right tackle. Shuts down one of the best pass rushers at Division II. Plays tackle the rest of the year. Flips to left tackle this past year. Has put on over 30 pounds and is now listed at 6'7", 302. So, just this freak athlete who basketball was his first love, found his way back to football, and has some untapped potential. I think in the 7th round, get him with some NFL coaching into an NFL conditioning and strength program. It could be interesting to see how far this kid goes. Grade our final Chiefs mock draft. That is it. Finito, A, B, C, D, or F. How do you guys feel I did in my final mock? And we'll recap it here for you guys. Quentin Johnston, the pick at number 31 overall. I think the value there is excellent. Trade up for B.J. Ojulari. Trade 63 and 95 to go get the LSU edge rusher. Deuce Vaughn, the Kansas State running back in round 4, along with Bama corner Eli Ricks. Gerard Clark, the coastal defensive tackle there in the 5th round. Ohio State safety Ronnie Hickman there in the 6th round. Fresno State wide receiver Jalen Moreno Cropper in round 6 as well. Then a couple of 7th round picks, Levi Bell, Jake Witt, a couple of small school trenches players, guys who could have some developmental potential. A, B, C, D, or F, drop a later grade in the comments, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Draft coverage all week long. You're not going to want to miss it. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. We'll break down every single pick. All right, A, B, C, D, or F. Evan says A, Arrowhead says B, Braden says B, H-Tag says A, Cole says B, Paul Amos A+, A-, buddy, I trust your instincts. It's all just a guessing game. Yeah, no. Samuel A, Tony says A, Cole Keller says B. Appreciate the love and support. We'll have videos throughout the week, so subscribe. We'll have you covered on the latest news and rumors. Again, draft this Thursday, guys. We're here. We made it. The draft is upon us. We will have you guys covered throughout that.
Bill Chase, I saw you tagged me and said, "Hey Sam, you asked Harrison if you heard about the news." We answered that question in the mailbag.
Yes.
I actually remember specifically pulling up your question. So
we got you, Bill.
Go take a listen back. You'll see your question in there. I guarantee you. I remember clicking on it.
Quick final thoughts. Interesting. I think the Jets overpaid, but they're desperate. So that's kind of how that goes. All right, folks. Appreciate you for tuning in. Producer Sam and I are out. Sam's got a lot of draft prep to do. I got some other stuff going on. So we'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Until then, go Chiefs, and we're out of here.